Hey there, it's EnderVerse. So many have requested a video about Jurassic and Prehistoric mods, so I decided to try my luck around finding a few high quality options that can work with each other. I'm currently working on a full ModPack, so stay around. You can also subscribe and turn on the bell, but it's totally optional. Now, without any further ado, let's dive into the video. The first and honestly the most exciting prehistoric mod in this video is Jurassic World-Craft. This mod's quality is especially good since this mod is originally a marketplace add-on. The dinosaurs featured numerous types of animations for idling, walking, attacking, and so forth. Their textures were also detailed and are very pleasing to the eyes. In addition to the dinosaurs, there are many blocks related to zookeeping. The mod was meant to simulate a Jurassic Park experience, and you don't just find these dinosaurs in the wild. Instead, you're out to process their DNA through high-end technology, resulting in a baby dragon. Many of you friends probably just want the dinosaurs to be there on the world as you explore. Don't worry, we have a couple of mods on the list that will do just that, so stay tuned. Up next we have Prehistoric Fauna, a mod adding an assortment of new biomes residing within new dimensions. Here you can find all sorts of dinosaurs. Some neutral, others aggressive, and some are peaceful and can even be tamed and ridden. Each dinosaur here can be found on the biome best suitable for its needs, and even sleep, with some species being active during nighttime, while others are daytime dwellers instead. Throughout the journey, you can get things like skeleton trophies, as well as armors and weapons crafted with dinosaur remains. To assemble the time portal, you'll first need to track this green temple, usually found in the jungle biome. Then from there you enter and kill the boss residing here. This boss fight isn't impossible, but it's also not too easy, so armor up before you take on this fight. The boss will drop an item that can be mixed with a fossil you can obtain on the overworld, together to create one of the 3 totems leading to one of the 3 dimensions. Enter the portal, and there you have it, a fully fledged prehistoric nature. Fossils and Archeology Revival is very special because it comes with new overworld biomes too. The new terrains featured volcanic craters, the perfect landscape for a prehistoric ModPack. The fauna in this mod is very realistic. The dinosaurs will be consuming each other in a survival for the fittest kind of way, which is unfortunate considering you have to revive the creatures through DNA processing. It would have been awesome if there was a config to make the dinos spawn naturally on the world. This way they can engage in this beautiful natural cycle. I haven't yet made a ModPack for this video, but I'm sure you can. The version that all of these mods work on is Forge 1.20.1. Also, here's a bonus and honestly a sponsor too. With Pine hosting, you can begin a prehistoric adventure server at a price as low as $3 per gigabyte. You also get a super fast CPU to load all of the new primitive biomes smoothly, as many RAMs as you want to keep the dinosaurs and players from lagging the server, a fast SSD storage unit to enhance the loading times, easing interdimensional travel in the process, and finally, a support team dedicated to solving even the most complicated crash reports. I'm glad to have Pine Hosting as a channel partner. They're helping me give you guys a 30% discount on your first purchase using my code ENDER, and also helps the channel financially and keeps the wagon moving. Cheers, and let's go back to the video. Biologica is one of the few mods on the list that will add animals that actually generate on the overworld rather than being made through DNA samples or found on foreign dimensions. The authors designed some incredible dinosaurs, each spawning in different new biomes and behave differently depending on their species. The vast majority of the creatures here are extinct and prehistoric, but a few are creatures that still exist in the world right now. The new mobs and biomes are not pointless. You could get new types of building blocks from harvesting wood and other raw materials on these biomes, as well as different new food sources and tools from taking down some of the creatures here. However, I would like to point out a problem. The dinosaurs spawn very frequently, sometimes many dangerous ones in a tiny space, so I would recommend for the authors to make them less common to find. Also, their AI can be brain dead sometimes, so that's an extra suggestion to check in. Still Life is a mod that enlarges the Minecraft terrains, stretching the land masses to feature smooth floors that form into massive mountains and slopes. The mod also enriches nature, with the foliage being way more abundant than in vanilla. This mod is perfect for this list, as the Mesozoic era was known to have had extremely bushy and wild terrains, something this mod supplies sufficiently. Unusual Prehistory is a mod adding 30 ancient creatures to revive, again through extraction and processing the DNA of any given animal. The dinosaurs here were skillfully designed. You can't help but want to install the mod when looking at their models and animations. You also get other things beside the living beings. New armors and weapons can be crafted too. The weapons in particular feature special moves triggered through right-clicking, so they are worth the long road of processing and killing the animal they are derived from. Unusual Prehistory is one of the most important mods on the list. As you will learn throughout the video, it can be pushed to include more and more content, to the point where it may be a viable ModPack on its own. Feur Extension Fossil doesn't add any new creatures or mechanics. The only reason I added it here is due to its large fossil structures. Sometimes they may come as the fossil of a T-Rex skull, a prehistoric fish, a small dinosaur, plus a few more. The terrains do matter when making a ModPack. The more the prehistoric features, the better the overall experience. Luckily, I managed to find a dozen mods that enhance the prehistoric feel without adding a single new dinosaur, so stay sharp. Sweety's Archeology adds a couple of new items that you can find through brushing off ancient fossils. The climbing axes in particular were my favorite. With our previously added Still Life mod, the terrains became quite wild and tall mountains began to form. Now here where I thought axes may come in handy, as they will facilitate the climbing of these mountains. I'm also fond of the ancient totems. They can do cool things such as manipulating the weather and summoning helpful minions. Archeology is going to be a key asset of this ModPack. Many of the Jurassic mods we'll discover feature DNA processing, which is directly tied to archaeology, as you will have to obtain ancient dinosaur remains. The Mesozoic era is known to have had some terrible earthquakes, far worse than anything humans have ever encountered. That's why I decided to add Trembling Earth, a mod adding earthquakes to Minecraft. The earthquakes here vary in strength. Some will just move the floor, shaking your screen a bit and cracking some blocks around, while others can scorch the earth, causing a huge raven to form beneath your feet. This mod, along with a few others we'll discover later in the video, will help us recreate the unforgiving natural events of the Mesozoic era. So let's keep going. Resurrected is an upcoming Minecraft mod all about prehistoric life. The number of creatures here is very small, but their quality and impact are immense. Though this mod took a different spin, as you will need to visit new places and perform magical rituals for the dinosaurs to be summoned. I like the cultist twist of the mod. It's original and expands upon the ModPack. However, I have to mention that the mod is only downloadable via the author's Discord. I'll leave a link for it in the description. Unearthed Journey is also a mod about prehistoric creatures, only this one is centered around the Cenozoic era, a time where dinosaurs had already gone extinct. This mod added 50 new primitive creatures scattered across 3 new dimensions. Most of the animals here are forebears of modern creatures like crocodiles, while a handful are not familiar and have no modern descendants as far as I'm concerned. This mod also presents new armors and weapons to craft, a cruiser to move on water, a satchel to store your things, and new types of food that can help you enhance your buildings. Unearthed Journey, just like the Prehistoric Fauna mod, is about time travel. Here, you are supposed to fight and kill the serpent boss called Methuselah. Once defeated, you can use Methuselah's eye to open one of the portals that will lead you to one of the 3 dimensions where all the creatures reside. This is an excellent mod. It's scientifically accurate and will not conflict with other projects due to its unique and unconventional collection of species. Marvelous Menagerie is an add-on for the previously mentioned Unusual Prehistory mod. This project expanded the collection of ancient creatures, adding a few more species that you can revive through processing DNA samples. The new creatures were skillfully designed, with the textures and animations accurately representing their real-life counterparts. You can tame and ride 2 of these mobs, first being the Joseph, a mammal that will help you cross the land very easily, and second being the Ophthalmosaurus, an aquatic beast that you can saddle and cruise the ocean with. All in all, a decent add-on, and as you will get to see throughout the video, a few more Unusual Prehistory add-ons will be included. That mod is already great, but it has a surprisingly big selection of high quality add-ons, so I decided not to ignore that fact. Skyfall Meteorites is a mod adding meteor showers to the game. I thought it would be appropriate for this video because dinosaurs went extinct due to an asteroid impact. The mod added a few different types of meteors, with sizes ranging from small to medium, and finally, large. Some of these meteors may even hold valuable raw materials like gold and netherite, so it's also great survival-wise. The author also added a few machines that will protect your base from incoming meteors. This way you won't be devastated by a meteor level in your town. Oh, almost forgotten. The mod also added the Angry Moon event, and good luck surviving that. Raxiores is a mod adding a bunch of super high quality dinosaurs to the game. Some of these creatures can spawn naturally on the world, while a few are not yet implemented and can only be summoned using commands. The dinosaurs here are far from pointless. They can be tamed to use for transportation, combat, and defense, or will give you positive effects when nearby. The author's designs were out of the box. They were way more colorful and feature extremely fluid animations for any type of movement. Raxiores is currently working on many cool new dinosaurs along with complete makeover of existing ones. So I would recommend you go check out their YouTube channel along with their Discord. This will help you stay up to date with what's going on. Organisms adds a couple of primitive creatures mainly consisting of aquatic species along with the herbivores and some insects. This mod is too an add-on for the unusual Prehistory mod, but it adds new content, so we're adding it here nonetheless. Next up we have weather, storms and tornadoes. This mod will intensify weather conditions in Minecraft, adding disastrous events such as tornadoes and thunderstorms. The mod's packaging was excellent. Every weather condition has its own VFX features along with smooth dedicated animations too. There are even VFX additions for clear weather, things like falling leaves, wind effects, snowflakes, and more. I added this mod to this list because back in the Mesozoic era, weather conditions were rough and terrible, largely due to a warmer climate and higher ocean temperatures, so this mod will be perfect for this list. Peculiar Primordials is a mod focused on adding 5 prehistoric species of birds and fish. I haven't observed any unique things to do or interactions to have with them. However, some of these creatures can help you craft new musical instruments that do things like change the time of the day or teleport you back to your spawn point, so they are quite useful. This mod adds one fictional creature, that being the Zombie Dinosaur. Our aim here is to be realistic, but some fiction will help spice up the ModPack and break the monotony of real life. Besides, this creature is still a dinosaur, so it fits the code. The Zombie Dinosaur can't be domesticated, you have to kill it, upon which it drops some useful items that will help you craft new armors and a venom gun. Cool stuff that are worth the trouble of fighting this thing. Cold Switch is a mod that adds a temperature system to the game. Cold can freeze you to death, while heat will cause dizziness and dehydrate you very quickly. Plenty of useful items and blocks can be crafted as well. Things like a thermometer to keep track of your temperature, beautiful looking armors to endure the heat or the cold based on what animal it was made out of, and a few blocks that will keep you warm during the cold or cool during the heat. There's also a chameleon here, a creature that existed for well over 100 million years, so you could call it a prehistoric creature. Opposite to most of the mobs on this list, once ancient beasts introduced species that never existed in real life. Every mob here is the author's pure imagination. Regardless, these mobs are quite purposeful. The most recent one, the Surfer, is a mob that will help you travel the ocean. The Soarer is also good for transportation, this time above the clouds, and the Walker is good for multiplayer transportation, this time for the land. The other creatures are also not pointless, with you being able to interact with them in a variety of ways. Just be careful of the Eater, he earned that name for a reason. Once ancient beasts are not the result of DNA generation, nor do they spawn randomly on the world. You have to brush out an egg that can then be hatched into one of these creatures. This is an excellent mod, and despite all the mobs being fictional, they still adhere to our style in that every creature here feels primitive and dinosaurish. Millions of years ago, oxygen levels were lower and carbon dioxide levels were higher. In other words, it was simply very hard for the average person to breathe comfortably. Thin air is a mod that will make oxygen something to consider, as you will lose it not just when you are submerged in water, but also when you are deep in the caves or high in the mountains. The mod does include things like air masks and air bladders. This way, you can explore set altitudes regardless of the limitations. Despite the mod not being a full representation of primitive atmospheres, it does make the game more realistic and harsh, precisely what we need in a prehistoric mod pack. Similar Prehistory is also an add-on for the unusual Prehistory mod. This one added 5 new dinosaurs that you can revive. The unique thing here, apart from how beautiful all of these dinosaurs look, is the fact that you can pacify and ride some of them, providing said creature with a long-term purpose instead of preserving them as decorations only. I like this collection of Primordials, but again, I really wish there was a way to make them spawn naturally in the world. DNA processing is just not my thing. Alex's Caves is a mod most of you friends know about. It added 6 fun cave biomes to explore. I picked it up due to one biome in particular, the Primordial Caves. This place is a Jurassic paradise, filled with a small but beautiful collection of dinosaurs, each doing unique behaviors like eating, flying, and preying on each other. And don't get me started on the quality. Apart from the obvious superior animations and textures, the dinosaurs' legs interact realistically with the floor. You will see one leg raised higher than the other based on the surface they are walking on. The majority of the dinosaurs here can be tamed. Some will serve as bodyguards, others are capable of flying, some will bite mobs for you, and a few more attractions you will want to try. You can track down this biome, but you will first need to obtain cave codexes, after which a map can be crafted, then you just track the location from there. Town's Huge Trees is a very self-explanatory mod. It adds these towering trees to the game. This mod takes nature to a completely new height, with trees being so massively tall, in addition to having an immense amount of detail, with branches sprouting out everywhere. The mod is great, but I have to admit that it's not something I would use for a mod pack. The trees here generate as you loot the world, which means that when you join the world, the trees won't be there, they will slowly begin to form, something that can be detrimental to any structures mod you might want to add. It can also be annoying, so I'm putting this mod on the optional list. Use it at your own risk. Primal Frontier is a new work-in-progress mod about dinosaurs. Currently, the author only added the Mape. The Mape is a night crawler, and sleeps during the day. It's completely aggressive, so exercise caution when stumbling across one, especially if it's nighttime. The base quality of this mod is great, and it makes you feel optimistic about the future of the project. The author also welcomes suggestions, so comment down below the dinosaur you'd like to be added next. All's Dinosaurs is a fixer pack that changes the models of the Sniffers and the Ravagers to look primordial and fit for our pursuit in this video. The Ravager will now look like a Triceratops, while the Sniffer is going to be an Ankylosaurus. Their outlooks are improved even more to this fresh animation patch, so I would not miss out on this pack. It may not add anything new on its own, but it does change the game in a way that favors our little mod pack. Peculiar Predators only adds 3 new creatures, but the main highlight here is the Uteranus. This is an Arctic creature that is neutral and can be tamed and ridden. If a hostile mob attacked you, the Uteranus will defend you ferociously. The other 2 mobs are also excellent. They enforce the theme of prehistoric nature and so are worth reviving nonetheless. There's only one problem with this mod. When the Uteranus attacks a mob, it keeps attacking even if it's dead. It's either this mob is a psychopath or there is a bug to be fixed. ShineaL's Prehistoric expansion is one of the few mods that spawns the creature on the overworld, without the need for DNA processing or interdimensional travel. The author assumed a very simple, bold, and vanilla-friendly style of animation and modeling. They also mixed fiction with non-fiction. This way the experience feels a little more fantastic, but remains realistic nonetheless. The creatures here are quite useful. The drops can either be made into weapons and shields, or they can be killed for food. There are also new biomes with new trees to cut down, plants to cut out, and few new mobs that spawn here, like the dodo. The mod is still not finished. Weird bugs can be seen, and things like the skeletons are not well explained in the wiki, but I love it all around, And you could enlighten us in the comment if you know anything about the skeleton thing. The Down era made quite a noise a while back. The project added some of the best dinosaurs you can see in a Minecraft mod. The dinosaurs here were also quite useful. 4 of them can be ridden and weaponized, and the larger ones like the Tyrannosaurus and the Triceratops can even trample trees for you. This way of forest isn't something that holds you back. The mod also focused on the aquatic fauna, adding a couple of wild and large types of fish, most of whom can be used as a food source, but the dunkel in particular can be tamed and ridden, providing an excellent water transportation. The mod was discontinued due to the author abandoning the project and his team. There is, however, a mod in the works named Ancient Nature. There is no estimated release date, but we are hoping it drops very soon. Next up we have Jurassic Additions, a mod adding a collection of dinosaurs to choose from. I said choose from because just like the unusual prehistory, the dinosaurs here are the product of DNA processing, with plenty of machines to analyze, fertilize and incubate dinosaur eggs that will eventually hatch into baby dinosaurs. The quality of these dinosaurs is amazing. My only suggestion is for the author to enhance the working animations, along with giving these dinosaurs a purpose and usage. Currently, they are kind of pointless to revive. Burnt is a mod that improves the wildfires in Minecraft, enhancing their visuals along with expanding upon them, with you being able to craft new tools and items related to said disasters. This mod is perfect for this video, since wildfires were much more common in the Mesozoic era, largely due to the warmer climate. So, this is one of the few mods that will serve our purpose without adding a single dinosaur. Jurassic Revived also rely on DNA processing. The dinosaurs here are special largely due to their sound design and their animation. However, I would not say the same regarding their textures. The author could have made them more vanilla friendly and more detailed too, but that's by no means a deal breaker for everyone. The mod also added a Jeep Wrangler, few new plants, and security fences, all designed to help you construct a Jurassic Park, hence the usefulness of DNA extraction. Project Vibrant Journey enriches nature in Minecraft, adding tons of new organic elements to the landscape. Depending on the biome you are in, different new things can be found on the floor or on the trees. I added this mod due to the fact that in the primitive times, nature was much more wilder than it is right now. Plants were more abundant and animal carcasses were ubiquitous. The mod's original goal isn't exactly that, but it's our only option to make nature wilder and less bland. So we'll take it. Finally, we have Age of Travel, a mod that gives you the option to either revive the dinosaurs through DNA processing or find them through exploring a new dimension. You can tame a good amount of these dinosaurs through feeding them their favorite food. Once tamed, they will protect you from any mob. The new dimension is a great adventure in its own. You can harvest the raw materials here for new tools, weapons and armors, along with crafting aesthetic building blocks that you can use for your next house. Thanks for watching. I'm still new to these transformational videos. If I had missed any mods or screwed up the gameplay or description, please be sure to comment it down below. Subscribe and turn on the bell if you'd like to stick around when a similar video is out. And I'll see ya in the next one, my friend.